I'm not here to pitch. I'm here to talk about food. But it's good now. About 2 years ago, I've joined Leveau right here with the founder of Crowdfooding. Crowdfooding is the world's first collaborative platform for the food and drink industry. What we do, on one hand, we work with established food organizations, corporations, and we enable collaboration with startups. We see this as the best way to bring innovation to scale. And on the other hand, we work with startups and we open alternative routes to market for them. One being just right here at Google, which is why you have all these brands out there today, same thing, food for you. They all make amazing products that are healthy, sustainable, and one of our ultimate goals is really to bring these sorts of innovations to scale. So at the break, please go outside, speak to the founders, and try the food. But today I just want to say a few words about our food system. You might be aware of the figures I'm going to show you now, but the system as he operates right now is not very sustainable. Just to start with, in 2050 there will be about 9 billion people to feed on the planet. That by itself is already quite a challenge. But as of 2016, 1 person out of 9 was suffering from undernourishment, while at the same time you have 1 billion people suffering from obesity. There comes the food waste issue. 1/3 of what we actually produce on Earth every year is going to waste. That's about 1.3 billion tons of food being wasted every year. I'm not just talking about domestic, household waste. I'm talking about all across the supply chain. And then comes obviously all the environmental impact of the food industry, which is quite dramatic. 1/3 of the greenhouse gas emissions is due to agriculture, and as a consequence of that, we lost about 1/3 of the cultivable land in the past 40 years. So it's from acknowledging all these issues that the term Foodtech is born. So I know you guys are all tech investors and know how familiar you are with the Foodtech ecosystem, and that's a very good definition from our friend Sue Nelson from Foodtech UK. Defines it basically as everything that is at the intersection of food and technology, aiming to solve some of the challenges that we discussed before. Today, Foodtech is more than a buzzword. According to ACT Founder, $10 billion have been invested into Foodtech last year. And according to different data sources, we count about 3,000 companies in the Foodtech space and about 100 accelerators and incubators. But what is really Foodtech? Some of you guys might know what this is referring to. But Foodtech is not about Shazam for food. We get real entrepreneurs solving real issues with real solutions. And I've flashed a few examples for you. It's quite hard not to talk about technology without talking about blockchain these days. This UK-based company called Provenance is basically trying to apply blockchain technology to the food supply chain to be able to provide full transparency and traceability of all food elements. Consumers these days, they want to know where the food is coming from, how it's been produced, transported, etc. And they definitely don't want to find horse meat in beef lasagnas, for example. Then comes the Internet of Things. That's an interesting case of an Israeli-based company that developed a connected headset that is analyzing the way you chew aliments. From this, they're able to make recommendations of what you should be eating to get healthier habits. This company here called Circuit, based in the Netherlands, they are using deep learning to analyze animal behaviors, and they are able to detect diseases early on, which is solving a massive issue for farmers. Then getting into more sort of a scientific approach, more than tech. These guys from Growing Underground here, they are growing about 20 tons of greens in former bomb shelters here in London, using hydroponic techniques. If you don't know what hydroponics are, it's basically growing food without any soil. That's an interesting example of a company called Skipping Rocks Lab, UK-based as well. They have developed an edible packaging for water made of algae. And one last example, that's a UK-based company, but quite a few in the US now, looking into growing meat in labs using animal cells, so that you don't have to slaughter animals, since the meat industry is probably the most harmful for the environment. But to help you guys get a sense of what Foodtech is about, we developed this tool called the Global Foodtech Map, with the aim of mapping the whole Foodtech ecosystem. So from startups to, in our next version, there will also be accelerators, investors, and incubators. So we get the link here, and we get some information on the chairs as well. So have a look. So far we've mapped about 1,200 companies across 5 continents, and we work with a network of partners. And this is it. I just want to give you with some food for thought. about why you guys should be interested in food tech and excited